Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho, back with another video. Today I want to talk about the Ifi Hip Dac 2. Now, the Ifi Hip Dac 1 was actually one of my favorite DAC amps under $200. And so today I'll talk about if this is also my favorite under 200, as well as this Hip Dac was actually my friend's Hip Dac. He actually bought this because I think I reviewed a lot of Ifi stuff and he really liked them too. So he got one as well. And yeah, so let's talk about this Hip Dac. So the improvement it has from its prior predecessor is that it has a better processor. So that could kind of help with their MQA decoding slash some of the sound quality, as well as there's a new firmware. At least the one I tested, I didn't have a GTO filter on. So this one has a GTO filter installed. So you can download that firmware on their website, right? So I'll be reviewing that version of this as well. And yeah, so I'll be comparing this to like the Apple dongle, which kind of represents like kind of the baseline of like what normal devices sound like versus having a dedicated DAC amp. And then I'll also be comparing it to the Gryphon, which is like way more expensive, but it just, I have these both in right now, so I might as well review them both, right? So please like and subscribe down below. It really helps my videos out. It helps me get products to review for you guys, and kind of, you know, grows my channel so I can keep bringing you guys these reviews. All right, so let's take a look at the Ifi Hip Dac. So the new one comes in this nice orange color instead of the blue. Honestly, like both of the colors, it look really cool. The device is honestly well built. You can kind of feel how it's just really sturdy, and it looks like a flask. So, you know, if you want to, you know, get a drink or something, you can use this and fool people that you're a drunkard. But yeah, when we come to like the ports, they kind of label on the bottom if you got confused. So we have power match over here on the left. So that's simply a gain switch. So what that really means is it turns it either louder or smaller. So if you turn this dial, by the way, it turns the device on, right? So this at 0, it's off. You turn, it turns on, right? And then when you push this button, you can see if it's on, the power match is on. If it's off, it's at a lower volume. And then moving on, we have the X bass button. So this is off, X bass is on. X bass is one of my favorite kind of buttons to use. It makes headphones that are open back especially sound a lot better, or just headphones or earbuds that are kind of bass light get a little bit more oomph. I kind of call it the fun button, and I really do think it helps a lot because there are a lot of headphones out there that just don't have enough bass, and to this it would just really help it. And I don't think the bass boost is like ridiculous, but it's a good amount, but it's not like a ridiculous like increase in bass, but it's enough to like actually hear it and not like overwhelm the music. So I really like this button, right? And then so you can turn the dial pretty far, right? And the power output of this device is quite big. So the thing puts out 400 milliwatts, and 400 milliwatts is a lot of power. In fact, you can even run my HE6, which is like crazy that I can even run this headphone because this is one of the most inefficient headphones. And honestly, I have no problems playing it on the Hip Dac because in balance mode, you can put out 400 milliwatts of power into 32 ohms, which is a lot. And the single ended of this headphone also puts out a lot of power, but definitely not as much as the balance port. So moving on, this big is the 4.4 Pentacon balance port. So that's where you get the maximum output. And then over here, we have the 3.5 millimeter just normal headphone jack for everyday use. And that still puts out a lot of power, but just not as much as that, right? And then on the back, we have, so you can charge your device through here, and then this, you get a blue USB cable over here that you can just plug into that, and then plug the USB into your computer or your device to play your music and stream your music from. When it comes to the accessories that come with the Hip Dac 2, you get a USB cable to connect to your audio. And then you also get 2 other cables. So you get this USB-A to USB-C that you can use to charge. And then you also get an adapter from a USB-A to USB-C, so you can also connect this to your computer if it has a USB-C cable. So all in all, you get 3 cables and the Hip Dac. So let's talk about sound quality. And I feel like the easiest way for me to convey sound quality is just to like compare it to something else. So we're gonna compare it to the Apple dongle, which is like $6. This is like almost $200, and then this is like $600. So you can kind of see what you're getting, right? So for me, the Apple dongle is like the baseline. It's like your motherboard audio. And yeah, so what I hear when I go from the Apple dongle to the Hip Dac is that the Hip Dac is simply more articulate. Like you're closer to music, you can actually hear more detail, and it's almost like the music is kind of like congested with Apple dongle versus like the Hip Dac kind of like opens it up a little bit, and it kind of goes around you a little bit more, and you're more like engaged and like inside the music more, versus I feel like when I'm listening to Apple dongle, I'm kind of listening to the music from like far away, versus the Hip Dac really brings me closer. Another thing when you moved from the Apple dongle to the Hip Dac is that I could definitely hear the kind of upper frequencies, like the treble performance, to be significantly better on the Hip Dac. Like it's almost like a layer of music was like unlocked, and like the Apple dongle kind of sounds compressed in comparison to the Hip Dac. Like the Hip Dac just has much more like, I guess, dynamic range. You can really hear it when you're kind of listening to them side by side. And yeah, that's definitely a big improvement you get as well from moving on to a dedicated DAC. And yeah, it sounds better, honestly. It's a huge upgrade in my opinion from here to here. Now I think the difference from here to here is smaller than the difference from definitely the dongle to the Hip Dac. Obviously the Hip Dac also has a lot more power output, so you can drive much more heavier to drive headphones better, and then you also have those other features, right? Now, moving from here to here, I definitely hear improvement in sound. There's also more detail in the Gryphon. Obviously, it's 3 times more expensive, so you definitely expect that, right? And then the other thing I also hear is that it actually has a wider sound stage. So this is definitely a lot wider than the Hip Dac. It's like kind of cool how wide this is. But this is also like a fully balanced DAC as well. I mean, this is balanced as well, but this has what they call, I think, their pure wave technology, which is their, I guess, their more higher tier balanced technology. And you definitely hear that difference. But the other thing is that this comes with a screen, right, as well. And there's a lot of features that comes with this as well. Like you can change your settings, your filters, you have Bluetooth, you have XBass 2. And yeah, this thing has a lot more features set, so you're also paying for all that as well in the Gryphon. So I do think, yeah, if you had $600, the Gryphon is a better device, but that is to be expected, right? But it doesn't take away from the fact that I think the Hip Dac comes very close to the Gryphon in sound quality for a lot less. And I think the Hip Dac is good. If you don't need Bluetooth, I think this is a wonderful device to listen to. And especially when you want to like unlock music, like my original review of this device, I said like you can't actually listen to high-res lossless on the Apple dongle because it's actually limited and you need an external DAC. And if I had to recommend an external DAC to listen to high-res lossless music on like Apple Music or whatever streamer or wherever you're listening to music to, I definitely recommend this device because it has a better DAC that can actually unlock those features so you can listen to. And really, this is one of my favorite devices. So in conclusion, do I recommend the Ifi Hip Dac? Yes, the Hip Dac 1 was one of my favorites, and Hip Dac 2 continues to be one of my favorites. Honestly, this is like literally my favorite thing under 200 that I've reviewed so far. It just has wonderful features. I love the bass boost. The sound quality that comes out of this thing is actually really amazing. Like, it's very neutral. It sounds very good. Like, honestly, I don't know if you can ask for more than this. And the power output of this thing is perfect for like basically any headphones. So yeah, I definitely recommend the Ifi Hip Dac. If you guys like my videos, please consider subscribing. It really helps my videos out. Comment down below if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. And stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.